Welcome to the Book Over, a little book club where we talk about books, especially the ones that give us book hangovers. I'm Sara, and with me is Megan.
Hi, everybody.
And today we are doing third Sunday tea with us. So tropes, triggers, and page turners. And this week it's Stepbrother, and we decided to do Fallen Crest High. Woo! Thanks to Megan's recommendation. She has that one. I have this one. Oh, I have the other one too. But
Sara has both.
I have
it's good. It's good. And we were just I was just commenting that I like that it's got big font. It's like it's just a very readable paperback.
It is. And even the this one, the special edition one, I like the chapter page pictures. This one's like flames, but then they have there's like 3 different ones they rotate. Oh yeah.
Oh, that's nice. I like when they rotate.
And then there's a football, and then here's the football.
Oh, very nice.
Rotates, and it's not like the same picture.
Yeah. So for anyone who's just listening, we're just showing off our books.
Yeah. Well, and I like this one because it's got the stepbrother element.
Yes.
To it, which I don't know why I didn't think of that when I was trying to think of that trope. So I love
I just think of Fallen Crest when I think stepbrother, because like it's like, I don't know, maybe it was like one of the first ones I read. And maybe because the families aren't close. It's, there's different houses, there's different parents throughout the series. I know we're just talking about book 1, I think,
well, it
that's
hits
probably
all
the
the marks too for like a stepbrother, right? Because for the stepbrother, you want that like, I don't know you that well, to like getting to know each other, to that like there's an attraction here, but is this okay kind of thing, to like being together, and then making that, and then the family finding out you're together.
Yes.
So that's what you look for. And I went through a big stepbrother phase at one point. So I did read this. I've read other ones, but then you and I were talking, maybe we should do this up then, and we'll do it now, about a bunch of other books, and I was like, oh, these are stepbrother too. Like, and it's like
sometimes we forget
to me that they were, but they are, because you have like Lords of Pain, or all the Lords, that's stepbrother.
Well, because I don't think it's stepbrother and Dukes, but in the other ones.
Yeah, but just the Lords. In the Lords.
Oh, just the Lords. I thought you said all Lords. I was like, oh, yes. And that's like the precipice of it is like that maybe that's the wrong word. That's the catalyst. That was the wrong word. Oh my gosh. The catalyst for everything was Killer's feelings about her. Like he always had a thing for her as a stepsister, and that's how the others got involved. And that's so
there was more too. You and I were talking about it, and there was tons. And
a lot of reverse harems, because they were doing that with like there's Lost Art of a Serial Killer. That's really an interesting one to explore. Yes,
I like
that's very interesting with the missing, like she's gone missing and she was raised by somebody else, and then she's like forced to be there, and then she likes her, like she didn't grow up with any of these people, like not even the parents. So that's like a whole very interesting stepbrother relationship to explore. Especially with the stepbrother, like they're not having a bad relationship with the step parent, like liking the step parent. Like usually a lot of the stepbrother tropes is they don't like their parents or
something like that. Yeah.
But in this, he at least, he liked the mom and Lost Daughter of a Serial Killer.
Well, and I read Endgame, which is really close to Fallen Crest. Like if you like Fallen Crest, my hair of the book would be Endgame by Chloe Walsh, because that's very similar, like same like family status and all that. Like it's I think there's a little more bully in it.
I think no, I know you listened to Rose in Malibu, but the original, The Paper Princess, I think it's kind of close to Fallen Crest too, where it's not necessarily step, because like she goes to live with the father she never knew's best friend, but it's kind of like it's like a foster situation, and it feels very stepbrother, Fallen Crest, fish out of water, rich people, that kind of thing. It's the brother the silly brother being involved.
Mm-hmm.
That you're kind of like, wait, is this, we have like which guy? She's like, we feel like she's with this guy, but this guy's really lovable too. Like,
yeah,
make a Minaj. We can't make a Minaj. Why not?
right. Oh, all the time. Anyways, yeah, I'm totally drawn. I'm gonna have to like post a post of all the stepbrother ones.
Yeah.
I'm drawing at blanks, and I totally meant to write them all down before we did this. There was one I thought of, and I can't remember the name, so I'm gonna have to go through my Kindle history.
Yeah.
It's years ago, but this one was they were step siblings, but they used to grow up. Like he used to visit during the summers. Like the dad, they had a good relationship and they would visit, but then something happened where the parents thought he was a bad influence or something, and they were like trying to keep them apart. And then like her mom passed away and she had to go move back and be with dad. And he was there. He drove back with her like cross country or something. And this like whole relation comes up, and then she sees how they treat him. And she's like, wait, what? Is this why you haven't been around for the past like 5 years and stuff? Like it was I really liked it, but I did not remember it. Like the name at all. So like, I am going to have to do a search, because
that's like those posts when people are like, can't remember this book, and everyone wants them to remember the book because it sounds good to everyone. Like, yeah, following this thread, Sarah.
Okay, follow the thread. I will figure it out. That's my goal.
Yeah. And then there is a movie on Amazon Prime, I believe it's dubbed, that people have been talking about, that's like, that I've heard a lot of people say, oh, this sounds like the plot of Fallen Crest, where oh my gosh, what's it called? I can't remember. But it's a new one on Amazon Prime, and it's like a stepbrother romance. So I feel like it's reaching the mainstream, y'all.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yay. I once saw, there was once back when Dish Network had its own TV series like thing back years ago. There was this thing called Bill and Billy, and it was a stepbrother series, like way before any of this, with Adam Brody. No one knows this show. I tell you, it's like obscure. And every episode had Nirvana song names. And it was so good. It was such a good step. They were older. It was like when they were grown up, they always had a thing for each other. And it was so good. If anyone can find Bill and Billy, like,
okay. Well, we'll look at that too. Yeah. When I look for my book, we'll look for that TV show.
This is good.
Oh my goodness.
This is good. Just gotta look for Adam Brody's like old stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find it. Okay.
I'm sure. Okay, so
Fallen Crest, you guys. It's a really good book. It's good. It's so good. And I forgot so much because I read this a long time ago. And so I reread it and I forgot. And one thing, it's interesting how like your character likes change when you read,
yes, like as you mature as a reader. As you
mature, but you know what? Mason's still strong for me. He's still really strong for me. Really, really strong.
Yeah.
I really like him.
And I know you like your side characters. I know you were liking some Nate during this.
Yes, I forgot.
He's a great side character.
I completely forgot. The only book I remember him in is Rich Prick, but that's more recent. So now I know this. I never finished this series, you guys. I know, horrible. I have never finished the Fallen series. So now I need to, just to get more Nate. Well, not just because I love Logan too, and I love Mason. So to get
Logan's got a book.
But then so I can read Nate's book.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nate, side character. He's my side character. So
and what I like about this series is that like so many side characters in this series have been getting their own books. Like she does side characters very well, and then she doesn't forget them, and they pop up. Not only do they pop up in other people's books in this like across the universe, and you don't need to have read everything to read it, but like it's just ones you wouldn't even think of, like, and that's you, Sarah. Sarah like side characters so much, and then they get their own book, and it's perfect.
Yeah, so, I know. That's why I'm like, I need to finish this series so I can see, and I need to read more, because as much of a fan I am, I have not read all of her books. So
you got to get
not
on
yet.
It. You got to get.
So I will.
Read all of my babies.
I will. I already started the next one, which I've read. Yeah, it's another reread of doing Fallen Crest Family. So I'm there, and then I will chug away and get it.
Oh, know what I like that's very cool about that she like wrote an alternative version of the second book that like she like I guess was going to do and then like kind of scrapped it, and I thought that was very cool, and that's always been on my mind is of me wanting authors to kind of I think that was kind of like an accidental I'm gonna post it for you guys type of thing, but like like a what if. I love that.
Yeah.
So then there's so many like mini novellas and stuff. It's just such a great world where if you want more of it, you can get more of it. Like even though it's finished, it's like it never really finishes, but it does finish like satisfyingly. But then they pop up. So
they pop up, and I think what I like too is like if you read like the Cruise series, which I read. These guys pop up here and there, and you go, oh, I kind of want like because then they're kind of like a cameo or a side character, right? And you go, oh, I kind of want their story. Then you're like, oh, look it's here.
And and then you'll read hockey with benefits, and you'll be like, wait a second, I know this and this character, and then they totally mention Mason being a football player, like all of that. So it's fun. It's fun. And Nate's book is really good, so we have that to look forward to. And you don't have to wait because we had to wait for Nate's book a little bit, but it was worth the wait. So
right. Well, what I like about Nate is like he's part of the group, and he's like he just fits in so well, and he was totally cool with Sam showing up and being there. Like he didn't fight it, and he's like, you're one of us. Like basically he was pretty quick in it. That was like I liked him. He's a good friend. Well, and it's hard for me because I started reading the second book, so I'm like, okay, like I already know from the beginning of that book like how awesome Nate is. So like okay, but this book is really good because of how it starts. Like it literally starts like the gas station again, like you'll see the gas station throughout, right? And then the car bombing the car. It's not really I don't know. Okay. But like I like
Molotov cocktailish kind of thing.
Yeah. I love that.
So it starts very yes, it starts on like a very interesting, intriguing note. Like how can you not be intrigued by that?
Right. And then I think it's the beginning, that first chapter alone tells you so much about the characters, right? Because Sam's bored, like her friends are drunk, and you could tell they're not that great of friends because they're not listening. And like she's like, it's time to go home, and they're like, no, and she doesn't really want to be out anymore. And then then the guys pull up, and she's like, like, oh, and there's that like whole looking at each other kind of thing going on, and then the car thing. Sorry, thing. Anyways, but it's like it's really good because it sets them up so well. Like this is who they are. Like that too.
And it shows Sam's kind of discontent, I think, with her life and the status quo. I think like she's definitely seeking and looking for something. Like I think she at the beginning of the series starts off like kind of like in a rut and kind of trapped in her like bubble in her world, but not happy. And they come and they shake things up for her. They kind of wake her up. They wake her up. I mean, because like the running, I'm trying to remember. Because it is very hard when you've read the whole thing to not mix it all up.
Right.
But like her like using running as a coping mechanism, and there's just from the beginning there's subtle things that
but they let her. So like when she first moves into the house, her life's like turned upside down, and like they just like leave her be. And at first you kind of take it as them not being friendly, and of course they aren't interested. They're not interested in having a stepsister. They don't like Annalise, her mom, at all. Like they're not interested. But the more and more they see of her and stuff, and they like, I was really impressed on how well like Logan. Don't let Logan trick you. He is smart. He's
so smart.
Read people, and he knows what Sam's doing. He knows that like she's gonna go off and run. Like there's a part in the book where like something happens and she's like needs to a couple of times, but he's like they're betting on how long the run's gonna be, and he's like, oh, this happened, so I bet this long, and it's just like it was actually kind of, I felt bad for her because and she took like, because in a way they're making fun of her. They're finding entertainment in the fact that she's running to like drown out her life. But then there's another scene where they go to Nate's cabin, and as soon as she gets out of the car, she looks at him, and he like knows that she needs to go for a run. He's like, go around the thing and there'll be a trail. And I'm like, I love you, Logan. Like, how awesome is it to have somebody that just looks at you and goes, okay, I know what you need to like go that way,
And I think that just speaks to who Logan is as a character in general. Like he's jokey, he's playing, but like you said, he sees. And even though he's joking and it might be taken the wrong way at first, that's just how he is. That's how he relates to people. That's how he's like the fact that he's interested in like showing that much interest like means something, that he would like joke with you. Like I don't think he's just joking with anyone. Like I think okay, when he jokes with other people, it's in a like that he doesn't care about. It's more mean.
Yes.
Like,
well, he can be mean. Oh my gosh, there's so many times where he was
so
like mean,
mean.
and I'm like, dude, like, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all, and it doesn't affect him if he's mean. So I was, he can be. Whew.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Fallen Crest for me. Okay, this is gonna be a controversial. Okay. I think I was always shipping low. I love Mason, and we haven't even started talking about him. But like, okay, Mason and Sam, yes, they're supposed to be together, but I think for a long time I was kind of shipping Sam and Logan. Like I just really, I don't know, Logan just struck me. He was my character, even though they weren't, that's who I wanted. I love Logan. That's my type. See, that's my issue. That's my type. A joking person that's really like smart and like plotting things. That's what I love.
That is your type. And my thing with Logan is I think he is the perfect friend for Sam. Yeah. And I worry about Logan though, because I don't know all that you know. I worry about him being lonely because he's the jokester and he is the man whore, but he doesn't have, look at like Nate. He shares Nate with Mason. He shares Sam with Mason. Like, so who does he have? So like with me, I'm like worried about Logan, and I hope that he gets I hope he does eventually get something that makes me feel content that he's going to not be lonely.
It's a journey, and he gets his own book. He does get his own book in the middle of the latter half of the series. He gets his own book. I think it's like maybe after book 4 or 5. It's during their college years. So, but he does get his own book.
I do worry about. And I see what you're saying, because the first time I read it, I wanted her with Logan, but then the second reread, I don't see it. I see it more as a friend thing. And I think
you're right. I think, and I feel like, because I don't want to give too much away, but yes, I think that there's reason to work, because I think I won't say
it's gotta be a lonely life. It's just gotta be. It's just like Zeke, honestly. Like Zeke and Logan could be they should be best friends because they're that person that's like holding it together for people, and they're intelligent and they're like people don't get who they are. And I am like pro Logan support group here. He needs some love. I think he's awesome.
Does get some love. He does. Well, and I think you're reading a lot into like the right things, into like what goes into as a series, his progression and what gets him to his book and ready for his story. But I mean, he's still prominent throughout. I mean, even though he gets his book, he's still like so like major in this story. But I think you are right, because the thing is, I like Logan for me. And then I have to remember, the book isn't about me, it's about Sam. Yeah. And if I think of Sam as a character, Mason compliments her better than Logan. Okay. But as a reader, sometimes you like to put yourself in there, and I'm like, oh, but I love Logan. Yeah. But no, but yeah. Well,
Nate. So
yeah. Exactly. But for Sam, Mason is the one for Sam. Yes. And I just had to come to terms with that, because then that's what's so great. Some of these characters shine, but then they do get their own books, and it is part of the Fallen Crest, series. So, but yes, Mason and Sam complement each other very, very well.
They do. I like Mason's hard though. Like, I'm like, good for you, Sam, because he's just like so alpha, but then like, to be able to read him
is hard.
You know what I mean? Because he's a man of very few words, I feel like. So it's just like, there was times where I'm like, what are you doing? And like trying to get there were some really frustrating moments, and I felt for Sam. Like, there's a scene like when they're going to Nate's cabin and everyone's meeting in the parking lot, her ex-friends show up because they're horrible people. And if anyone ever has friends who cheat with your significant other and a friend that knows about it doesn't tell you, you need to cut that bitch. Okay.
Yeah,
so I like done. So the fact that like when she sees them and then she's like thinking, I'm not going if they're here and this is going to be a problem. And Mason pulls up in his car and sees her and he's like, what's wrong? And this is before they're even a thing. They're soon a thing, but they're not a thing yet. You know, and he like takes care of it. Well, he has Nate take care of it for him. Like it, that spoke a lot to me. But then he had Marissa girl, which I think they cover who she is a little bit, how she's a friend, but then he was like jokingly at one point saying that she cheated on him. I'm kind of confused on that relationship, and I think we'll get more because I'm jealous of her. She seems nice, but then she also, I'm like, what's her deal? And then how Sam backed her up at the cabin. I love how you're like, I know stuff. So like, it's just, then the cabin stuff happens and like in front of Adam, which we're going to talk about Adam because Adam's this friend. And then like, she's talking to Adam and they're kind of like, they keep getting interrupted in this book where they need to work something out. And then like Logan will show up or Mason will show up and then Mason plays her, right? Like I felt bad for Sam because like all of a sudden she's wrapped around him, right? And he's like, see what I just did there? And like cold water. Like here she's getting all hot and steamy over him. And then she's like, you just used me to prove a point to Adam. I felt really bad for her. But then, you know, then they go at it in his it's okay, kind of, because then he like ignores her like the rest of the thing. So he was very frustrated. But then if you think about it, because I'm aging them up, to me, they're in college. So like I'm aging them up. Yeah, that's the one thing is she's not even 18 yet. So I can see people having issues with that. But like in my head, I just
age them up at this point.
Up. But like and even a young college guy is gonna be frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Boy. You know, so but yeah, I'm just he was frustrating for me, but just the good when you get what you need from him, you're like, okay, this is Mason.
Yeah.
And he is perfect for Sam. I mean,
he is. And I think it takes time to break Mason's walls because he's, you know, a star football player. You know, a lot of people want something from him. And then he is cautious of her because like her mom is with his dad and it's, you know, there's a lot going on. So I think he's cautious as well. I think Mason's a very cautious guy with everything that they've been through in their life and what's like with their father and stuff and what's going on with, you know, their status at school being like the star football player that everyone wants something from them.
Can we talk about that scene where she ends up going to the football game where they're playing her school and she's trying to be like incognito, like don't know them. And then like Logan jumps on her, like hugs her, like spins her, right? He like picks her up and spins her. And she's like, oh shit, you know? And then what happens after that? Was it Nate? No. Then like Mason's there and he's like, you're going to the party. Like then Mason talks to her. And then Nate's talking to her and everyone's just
and then it's like, who's this girl? I'm like, why are all the popular people talking to her?
Ex-friends and stuff. And then like I was just like, and then part of me is like, use it. But she doesn't with Sam, she doesn't want it. She doesn't want to be the spotlight. She doesn't want people to care about her. And I was like, I love you because I wish more people were like that, where they are like, I don't care for the popularity.
And I think that's what Mason needs. He needs a girl like that. And the more he realizes that Sam, it's like, that's not it for her.
Yeah.
Because she very much, the more I think about it, that they very much complement each other because they're very similar in certain respects with how they are like as characters. And how they let people in and how they kind of have I could see that. I definitely see their kind of balance each other out with that. Now, you said we're going to talk about Adam.
Yes.
So,
okay.
Adam.
You know, I'm mixed on Adam. And I feel bad for him because we find out he's got a crush on Sam for a while. And she was with that horrible ex-boyfriend. And then she's not. And he's interested, but then there's the Becky friend, and I don't know how long she ends up staying a friend, where like it's, you know, Sam's being a good friend and being like, I won't go on a date with you or anything because Becky likes you and it's not fair to her. Like, I love that. That's so awesome of Sam to just be like,
really
I'm not doing this. But like, there was moments of Adam where he was just like mean, or he like went with the queen bee of the school and was like, yeah, we're kicking you out of this group or this and that. And then other moments where like they're in the abandoned closet or classroom and she's like crying on him because her life's falling apart and it's just all this stuff going on. And so it's just like,
so he's hot and cold too.
He's hot and cold too, and I don't know.
Is his cold worse?
I don't understand like his. And then I felt like there's time like at the country club where it kind of comes out together. They kind of made it come out together that his dad's like cheating on his mom, and it's like, and they were okay with it. He was okay with it, and like these, like their friendship had like could have been so good. So I'm really curious on if like it gets fixed, because I could like Adam, but I'm really unsure about him.
Feel like that's how you're supposed to feel. Like I really feel like that's like what you're supposed to feel with him. And it's like the series is long, and it's a journey, and I feel like you're gonna feel a lot of ways about a lot of the characters. Yeah. I mean, I gotta be careful what I say. Because it just like you said something and it's like it hit, like something like clicked to me, and I was like, boy, like what a long way. But then this thing, I can't even like.
I'm
be
sorry.
Careful. No, it's fine.
I'll read more. We could talk more as I read it. Yeah,
because I think Adam's a good topic because it's a very interesting character. It's very interesting. It's throughout. It's interesting with him. Yeah. I feel like what you're saying just really. I don't want to give it away.
Okay. No, that's fine. So there's another character. So like David, Sam's dad, not biological dad. And then he's dating the mom of another student at the school, Matt. So like all that too. So that was like a big tangle thing. I'm assuming we'll get more of that, like David eventually proposing marrying, because that's like all this stuff. Adam said like, oh, he wants to say this, but he doesn't know how to tell you that he thinks your parents are your dad's gonna end up with his mom or something. So it's just like poor Sam, right? But
a lot of setup. Yeah,
there's a lot of
family changes. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like her most reliable parent isn't her biological parent, and so that kind of leaves her like what do you do now? They're split up, and like yeah.
Well, and then what a tangled mess, because so we're talking about this being a stepbrother romance, which it and they get to witness her and her mom and how her mom has treated her and talked to her and all that stuff, right?
Toxic mother, yes.
But then at the very end, we meet her biological dad, and she meets him for the first time, which, oh gosh, right? Like, but I like him. And there's a scene where Logan goes and talks basically about everybody's sex life. And it was like, oh, you two fit because of this and you two didn't fit because of that. But it's so interesting. So like Sam's bio dad is dating the boy's mom. And then Sam's mom is engaged to the guy's dad. So I'm like, it's a double step. I was like, wow, like, because it hasn't happened, right? So technically it's not.
Yeah. So technically they're not related. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like how the relations are going. It's like, wow, like there's two chances of them being.
And the parent, it's just very interesting. The parents they got their.
I don't know who's putting up with Annalise, the mom, and like staying with her. Like
her mom is awful.
Like, she is awful. And then when you start the next book, Fallen Crest Family, she's awful at the beginning of that one, and I'm like, lady.
I mean, I will say that this book definitely, I would put it in the category of found family too. So like, hold on in there, because like it does have those vibes. I mean, but I think that's what they need when you get found families. It's because the families they're coming from have these these issues.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's
a great book, and it's a great setup for like the whole series.
Yeah. Well, and as you're reading it, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen with that? And what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And then it ends and you're okay with the ending, but you're like, gosh, I need more. I need more. And like this read around, I'm like, okay, I need to figure out this character and this character and this character and like make sure this person ends up all right and make sure, you know, Sam ends up okay. Cause like, you know, and then I also want to see her and Mason working out. Logan once mentioned that she should be running with Mason because Mason runs. That has not happened yet. I have not read that happening. I'm like, when do you guys run together? I want them to run together.
That's something fun to look forward to.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just those little moments like that, like that you build up to, you know what I mean? Like that just, they mean more because, you know, she's a runner, it means so much to her, like them coming, like the fact that you're looking forward to that, like them running together. It's not like, oh, I'm looking forward to this steamy scene. And no, I'm looking forward to them running together.
Yeah.
That's like
those moments.
Yeah. Yes. It's those. Yeah. And again, 9 books. It's a 9-book series. It's just like it's like a TV show. Like it's really, really good. It's like every book is good. It's a great series throughout. It doesn't get like boring or like redundant. It's really good.
Now I saw that there's a Mason. So you could buy a book. There's like one that's kind of like 0 to 3. And I don't know what book 0 is and if that's something I should read. Because I know there's a Mason book. Is that Mason, the Mason book?
It's Mason before Sam enters his life. So I don't think it's necessary. It might be if you want more context into his past. But I'd also be careful when you read it.
Because does it have like
their past, like stuff growing up and stuff?
Does it have past relationships? Because that's the thing. Like I don't
believe it. I don't believe it does. I'm trying to remember. It might. It's been a while.
I'll read the I mean, I heard that I read a review that said this will give you insight on who Mason is.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But I feel like we'll get that
as it goes on. Yeah.
Like Tijan is gonna give that to me anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
no, because play it by ear. See how you're feeling.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. Yeah. I feel like that was a really short talk. I'm just like forgetting what else.
Was it? It didn't. Was it short?
How was it? I don't know. I think it was like a half an hour. So yeah.
I was like, oh crap, we're going over.
I think we did go over actually. So yeah, okay. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And then we're gonna post Stepbrother recommendations for all the different things, and then continue reading Fallen Crest. I'm going to. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Bye. See you next time.